Hello Pokemoshpitbeta, this is TheSuperMarioPoke, formerly known as SuperMarioPoke. I did make a new channel, so if you were previously following me and you want to refollow me, go ahead and click the link in the description and that will lead you there. But I have a PlayTCG match for you guys, and what this is it's kind of like TCGO, except everything's manual and everything's free. So I like it because I can make a ton of decks for no cost, which is really great. And you also face people who have access to all the cards too. That way, you know, there's no problems with facing horrible decks or starter decks, that kind of stuff. So we're just setting up here, and I'm looking at the Pokemon, and he's running Moltres, which, you know, 2 retreat costs compared to Entei's. And I'm not sure what to think here. I know it costs more energy for Moltres, so I will want to try to maybe catcher that out with that catcher first turn. But I'm running a Tornadus Donk deck. What that involves Mewtwo EX, Tornadus Emerging Powers, Tornadus EX, and the new Aerodactyl, which when on the bench, it's basically a plus power for, you know, if it's placed on the bench, it acts as a plus power every turn, which is awesome. Now, we're just, you know, finishing setting up here, and I'm just waiting for him to say heads or tails so I can roll the dice and start the games. He says heads, so I'm going to roll, and it's tails, so I get to go first, and I do lead out with my preferred starter, which is Tornadus. And I decide here that I want to, you know, get everything I can. So I'm just going to catcher, mainly just to get the card out of my hand and into the discard so I can Bianca later on. And I'm just going to go ahead and throw down the Mewtwo and get 3 cards. And then, you know, just arrange them. And I do get a Stadium this turn, which is really good because it boosts the power of my first attack, which is Blow Through. And so now I just pass since I didn't get that DCE first turn. And his deck is very interesting. As you see, he's running Moltres and Entei, and they have, or Entei EX, and they have one thing in common that is very specific. They cause burn 100%. Now, he's also running Larvesta, and it's an 80 HP basic, and what it does is its evolution, Volcarona, has an ability, or poke power, I forgot which one, but what it does is burn damage is 40 instead of 20. Now this adds up since you flip for turn, flip for burn twice. You flip for burn on my turn and his turn, and that kind of thing. So that could be 80 damage for every like cycle of turns, which is a lot of damage. Not to mention, you know, the damage it takes to cause the burn. For example, 50 damage, or I believe 30 damage for the Entei. So it adds up. So it's a really cool deck idea. And so my plan is going to be just like if I was facing an electric deck, you know, just take away the setup, take away the electrics, let him manually set up the Pokemon, and then take those down after I've taken away his ability to reset up the Pokemon after he puts energy on him manually. My plan is just to take out the Larvestas here before they can evolve into Volcarona. Even though I'm going to be packing on a ton of damage, I have 170 HP before, you know, he gets 2 prizes, and I can just capture these things every turn, put an energy on my Tornadus EX, and then take him out. Now here, we're just debating, and I think you guys can read the chat because I can read it from where I'm sitting narrating, and it's smaller than what, it's about the size of what it would be on the YouTube page. But basically what happened is he didn't see that I discarded the Psychic Energy, so he thought I used Blow Through, not Power Blast, because I flipped and I got Tail, so I had to discard it. But it was settled, and he, you know, I took a prize, that kind of thing. So now he's just going to go to Moltres, which has the amount of energy to attack, and I don't like the fact that Eviolite is on it. It's unsettling, it's making me nervous, but I'm just going to keep capturing around it. And he discards a Volcarona here, which, you know, and a DCE, but he needs those Volcaronas and those those Larvestas, because I'm going to be targeting those things, man. I am going to be targeting them. And I'm not sure how many Super Rods he runs in his deck, but hopefully he does run them so he can get them back later on, or, you know, revive, that kind of stuff. But he's going to Heavy Evolve for another Larvesta, and that's, you know, that's pretty much my, you know, the thing here. Now I will be able to flip to try to get that Aerodactyl out this turn after he, you know, burns me and puts some damage on. And then I'm going to go ahead and flip for burn. Oh wait, I haven't flipped for burn yet. I forgot to flip for burn, but he's going to remind me, and then I'm going to flip for it. Now I'm going to Junk Arm. And I'm holding on to it. I'm like, do I want to Junk Arm it? Yes. Catcher for Larvesta. Basically, I Junk Armed for the catcher. And then I went and, you know, instead of just pulling it out of my discard, that kind of thing. And now he says flip for burn. I roll, and I get heads, so I, you know, don't take damage. And now I'm just going to go ahead, check my discard really quick, and then, you know, Juniper, that kind of thing. Oh, sorry, I accidentally did check discard instead of discard. But besides that, I have plus power, DCE, all that kind of stuff. I am going to put the DCE and the Eviolite on the Mewtwo, as I do believe I want to set that up late game, that kind of thing going on here. And am I going to place that plus power? I don't think I can, because I can place the plus power, and then with the Aerodactyl, that'll be enough to kill with blow through, instead of the fact that I'd have to, chance myself flipping to discard an energy, which I don't want to do, because then I'd have to try to get that back later, which would be a pain. If I can, I don't remember if I run Super Rod in this deck list, but so I'm still holding on to the DCE because I didn't want to place it yet. I want to see if he tries to respawn with a Mewtwo, and just try to see if he tries to go for it, fish for it, that kind of thing. But I'm not sure at this point. I'm still, I don't know if he doesn't have it, but I'm starting to think he does it. Now he does get a Volcarona out here, which I believe I do zoom in on after he's done, searching through his deck for another Larvesta, and I'm just gonna have to, fish for a catcher here. I need to get a catcher, and hopefully I can get out another Aerodactyl. That would boost, that'd be plus 20 damage every time I attack, just for having those 2 Pokemon on the bench. But before I could do that, I'm going to have to go ahead and get the other, I'm running 2 stadiums in this deck, as both are very useful, and I'm running 7 stadium cards in this deck, and that highly increases my chance on getting it turn 1, which helps me get that turn 1 knockout on a low HP basic DCE Stadium Tornadus EX. Good game. And so he's going to just go ahead and do some damage. I'm already burned, but I flip and I get more damage, which is awesome. And because of the Volcarona, I take 40 instead of 20. So I'm going to place the DCE now, because I now notice my my lifespan is being cut really short. So I'm going to go for the Oak here. I decide not to go ahead and go for the try to get the Juniper off the Pokegear. I'm going to save that Pokegear for later. And I do zoom in on it slightly just to check the amount of HP, and I notice with that Aerodactyl, I can one-shot it. It has 110 HP, which means I can kill it. And so I'm going to, just continue to take these things out, which is awesome. Like, just, KO. And do I explain it to him? No, I don't think I do. But I do dice roll, and I get 2 heads. And I dice roll twice without saying anything, because the dice roll for the energy goes before the burn. So, if it was tails, heads, I would know which one, was which. But I get a DCE, which is amazing, because I can put that on Mewtwo. Because basically now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to... I don't think he has Mewtwo, so I'm just going to power up my Mewtwo with as much energy as I can. Because I know this Tornadus is not going to last forever. And I know I need to start doing something, because despite the fact that I've taken out a major factor of his deck, he still has some powerful Pokemon. And although he hasn't taken prizes yet, he will soon. As I have 30 HP left. That's 2 burn damage, or he can attack me for 30 with Entei if he can get 1 more energy on it. Which, there's the energy, so he won't be able to take me out, which is unfortunate, but it's gonna have to happen. Then I can place an energy, a DCE on Mewtwo, and then there'll be 6 energies between us, which is 120 plus 10 damage for the Aerodactyl, which makes it 130 damage, which is a lot of damage. So I'm going to place the Eviolite where he can easily see it, just so he remembers. I'm going to draw a card. I can't flip for the... dang it. I need to try to get another stadium out. And that's the only thing, is like switching between stadiums, being aware what stadium you have out. And I run 3 Sky Arrows and 4 of the, Twist Mountain. That's what the card's called. And what Twist Mountain does, it's a really cool card. Basically, you flip, and if you get heads, then you can put a restored Pokemon from your hand onto the bench. That is a much more reliable way to get out those fossil Pokemon, so that's awesome. Now, I do get Twist Mountain here, so I believe I am going to place it down and fish for, because at this point, I'm planning on not switching out Mewtwo. This is like my all-in here. I'm putting all my energy on Mewtwo. And if this Mewtwo goes down, I'm going to be in trouble. I'm going to have to sacrifice like a Tornadus while I put a DCE on the EX just to go ahead and deal with that. Because if he takes out my Mewtwo EX, then I'm going to put out Tornadus Emerging Powers, so then I can power up my Tornadus EX to clean up the game, as that'll still leave him at 1 prize. And I have this Entei to go and the Moltres to go for prizes, and then I can win. And because I have 3 prizes left, and EX Pokemon give up 2 prizes because they're uber powerful, and that's why, you know, it's a risk and a reward kind of thing. But so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm debating whether or not I want to put this thing on my bench, but I decide not to. I don't really need to. I have enough stuff on my bench and everything, and I end up going into another one. But I do place another energy, and then I'm just gonna get some stuff like these stadiums I don't need now. Although I do keep one just because I know I don't need the Pokemon, and I'm just gonna grab a Aerodactyl from my deck with the Ultra Ball. And Ultra Ball and Junk Arm plus, I believe it's called Sharam, you get to draw cards until you have 6 cards in your hand, kind of like, what's it called, Magnezone Prime's ability. It's a pretty cool card in combination with those, because Ultra Ball, you discard 2 cards and get to pick any Pokemon card from your deck. That includes like Legend cards, EXs, you know, Stage 2s, Stage 1s, that kind of stuff. Fossils, I believe, because, anyways. Now, all he has left is his Moltres, and it is fully powered up and dangerous. Thankfully, because of the Eviolite that I put on the Mewtwo, I'm able to take 2. If not, I mean, it does 90 damage, so that would be 180, which would be a knockout. But this way, it only does 70 damage, which ends up 140, which is not a knockout. So because of that, although I wouldn't have put down the Smeargle, it's kind of a risk, but then again, he just needs to try to get some supporters going from my hand and try to go ahead and do that. Now I do get something off the Pokegear. Gonna put those back in my hand, then use, you know, just draw 6 with the Pokegear, and I get some more cards. So I do place another energy on it. That's 6 energy on my side and 3 on his. That's a total of 9 energy, which is 180 damage plus 20 from the 2 Aerodactyls is 200 damage minus the Eviolite, which, you know, 180 damage. That's still an amazing knockout on the Moltres with Mewtwo. And so here I'm just going to tell him that I was recording it. I'm going to just make sure it's okay with him if I upload it, and that I ask to see his prizes because I'm curious what he has prized. And it turns out that one of the things that he really needed, you know, Super Rod, was prized, which, that's such a bummer. That would have made the match so much different. He was able to Super Rod and also Junk Arm for it. Just to go ahead and, what was I saying? Oh yeah, to Super Rod back to get those Volcaronas, to get that extra damage on Mewtwo, or to get that extra damage on Tornadus, so it would have died faster before I could power up the Mewtwo. Would have just been huge, but I was able to capture them out, you know, single them out, deal with the other Pokemon later. As you saw, you know, the Pokemon that he started out with in the beginning of the match stayed there till the end, and I just kept on taking out his stuff that he was using to set up. So that is how the match went. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed. That's all I have. That's all I have. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry, my screen just froze, and that's because the footage stopped. But the narration's still going, so it's okay. But that, you know, that's all I have for, like, what, the 3rd or 4th time I've said that now. Let's just say it one more time for good measure. That's all I have. But if you want to see more, you can see it on my new channel, TheSuperMarioPoke. And I'll catch you guys later. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know I had a lot of fun recording it and battling it and narrating it, that kind of good old stuff. So I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.